It's time for Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here is your host, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
As I was walking down the street one day, a man came up to me and asked me what the time was that was on my watch. Yeah, I said,
will he be able to go or not? Will we have to wait until 9 o'clock to find out? Probably so. If Ja can go, you know he will. If he can't, all right. They were 20-5 without him. They got to play better defense. He's not the greatest defender in the world. No, I'm not saying I don't want Ja to play, because I want Ja to play. And you know what? Back in the deep recesses of my head, I kind of think he will. The Grizzlies play games with this stuff. They're the worst in the league at releasing any information. They really are. That's just their philosophy. They're tight-lipped. They give away nothing. And so I kind of think he is going to play, but I really can't tell. The league was right. I mean, there's no way in the world that you would have suspended Jordan Poole for that play. We get into that in a second. But I go back to this. Why do we love sports? Because you never know. You never know if an 80-1 shot is going to win the Kentucky Derby. And having to come pretty much in the last quarter of the race all the way from 15th to win. A horse that wasn't even supposed to be in the race until the day before because another horse got scratched. When you see that, and then you combine 20-5 without him, what the heck? Crazy things happen in the world of sports, and that's why we love it, and that's what makes today so exciting. We're going to have to wait till 9 to see if he plays.
Late one. Oh, man.
Because you know they won't give away anything before then. So let's. We got medals today. We got T.J. Reeves coming your way at about 10:25. We'll end with Ted Butler. I was the big money winner again, but not by much, thanks to Rory McIlroy. Max Homa winning again. He gets a medal from me. We'll get into that in just a little bit. But let's get to just a bad game that the Grizzlies played. Game 3 of the series. You know, they actually got good looks, but they couldn't shoot. But really the reason they lost this game was because they were awful on defense. They gave up 70% shooting, 72% to be exact in the first half. 72%. I've never seen anything like that. For the game, it was 63% from threes, and they gave up 17 of those at 52%.
There was a stretch, like you said, first half, the stats were incredible, what they were shooting, but still 63 for the game, and there was a stretch they were shooting like 65 from 3 or something like that. You're not going to – certainly not the Warriors, but there's not a lot of teams you're going to beat in the league in the playoffs if you go numbers like that.
No way.
No way.
Well, you know, we knew that the Warriors wouldn't continue to shoot as poorly as they did in Memphis.
That you said it on when they left.
Right. You knew that. I wasn't expecting 72% in the first half. And what bothers me is really some of the looks that Poole got inside, or where he just drives by everybody, Ole defense. They won points in the paint 62-44. They won the rebound battle again. And that was small, 38-29. It was still almost a double-digit rebound lead, but only 38 rebounds. Well, of course only 38 rebounds because they didn't miss any shots.
Didn't miss any shots.
I mean, they were getting 50 rebounds in Memphis, the Warriors. But they didn't miss shots, so you only had 38, but the Grizzlies could only get 29. The Grizzlies looked so good in the beginning of the game, they did hit threes. That kept them in the game. However, after those first 6 threes, Everybody went cold. And the guys that had contributed off the bench earlier in the series, Tyus Jones, I don't think he hit one. I think he was 0 for 5.
Yeah.
Zaire Williams, way off the mark. I don't know why John Concher's playing, but he was he 0 for?
Yeah, he didn't make a shot.
Yeah. I mean,
what do you think about Steven Adams' minutes? You'd like to see him get more?
I don't understand that decision by Taylor Jenkins. And I have in this thing, what changes will we see tonight? Well, we know one change for sure is that Dylan Brooks is going to play. And Dylan Brooks will start, and Dylan Brooks will help amend some of that 63% shooting, okay? And he'll play with an edge. It'll be interesting to see what his frame of mind will be like because he's going to be booed, I mean, viciously.
From the moment he steps out to do layup lines.
Exactly. I mean, when he steps onto the floor, he will be immediately booed. No doubt.
I think it's going to be a defensive slugfest, though. I don't know if slugfest is the right word, but it's going to be. I think it's going to be really. I predict, if I could be Nostradamus for a minute,
sure,
some really good defense tonight in this game, even by the Warriors as well. But I think by the Grizzlies, because you have to hang your hat on, like you said, you just gave up 63% shooting the last game. You don't have John Morant. This game has to be won on defense. So if it's going to be competitive, I think it's going to be a really big defensive matchup.
Well, you're going to start Tyus Jones if Ja doesn't go, and I still think Ja might go.
You think it's smokescreen?
I think it's
or just be playing it close to the vest.
That's the way they are. They never let you know, and if they, they know probably by now whether he's going to go or not. And they didn't say he's out. They said doubtful. What does that mean? Doubtful.
Anything, I guess.
Does that mean more likely he won't play?
But there's still a percentage that he will, which means you're fine if he plays.
They say things like he heals like a Wolverine. Which is, if you don't know the Wolverine movie, the guy gets stabbed. He looks like he's going to die, and it just heals itself
That's right.
in 10 seconds. So,
sounds like a nickname for John, Wolverine.
There you go. If he comes back and plays and scores 40 tonight and the Grizzlies win, we'll call him Wolverine. So I'm good with that. I don't see how you don't start Steven Adams. You've been out-rebounded in this series every time, and on the offensive boards as well. He's the best offensive rebounder in the NBA. Why would you not play him in this matchup? The Minnesota matchup made sense. He was too slow to guard the two key guys that Minnesota was going to throw at you. He was late in getting to switches. The way they play is different than the way Golden State plays. He was not as effective a player. He understood that. He was a good soldier. But in this series, I think he can be a big-time contributor, particularly defensively and on the boards.
I think the boards is a huge one, certainly defensively too. And I know at the end of the game, it's not like he's playing against Draymond and their starters. It was like Moses Moody and Bielitsa and all these guys on the floor at the end of the game. But still, he contributed immediately when he walks in the game.
Well, he had better numbers than Tillman did in a
5
fraction,
minutes.
In a fraction of the time. But come on, look who he was playing, and they were up 30. I mean, teams don't play the same when they're even as when they're up 30. So you really can't look at that and say, I mean, you can use that if you want to in your argument. That's what we do. But I'm not buying any of that.
Well, but on the other hand, though, is people were saying, well, maybe he's just not right. He had COVID. Maybe he doesn't feel good.
Right.
Well, he feels fine. I mean, you saw him come in, but like you said, it was against Bielitsa and Moses Moody and stuff like that, too. But I would like to see him on the floor more. He played in all the matchups they had this year, and he contributed fine. In fact, he was the primary ball handler in a lot of their offensive possessions. I just don't see why he's not playing at all.
I would be surprised. Who knows what Taylor Jenkins is thinking? And it's hard to argue with a guy who's one of the 3 finalists
Coach of the Year,
for Coach of the Year. But I don't understand his decision not to start Adams and not to really play him at all until garbage time in Game 3. I don't know what the disconnect was with that. But if I were Taylor Jenkins, now you know. I mean, you need more physicality in there. You need better defense. You need rebounding. You got to go with the guy who's been your best rebounder, and that is Steven Adams, and he's healthy. So I would think you'd see him. You're going to see Dylan. And if Ja can't make it, Tyus Jones, and those are the 3 major changes that you'll see with minutes played. You are going to have to defend better. No question about it. I don't know if you change some of your philosophy because Brooks, he'll take shots. He'll take a volume of shots, but he's not very accurate. And do you move him more inside, or do you have him hit some of the threes that you're going to be missing that Ja was taking? I don't know. Jones has to hit threes. He was 0 for in the last game. I don't know why. He was so good in the Minnesota series. He was missing the little floater that he's so good with.
Oh yeah,
He was missing everything. I don't know.
Who do you think shoulders the load for scoring? Which, if you had to predict, if you had to guess, who would you guess shoulders the load
Well,
today?
I would have to say Jaron has got to be more productive, but I do think if Desmond Bane's back allows him to be, he becomes the primary scorer.
I agree. I think Vanderbilt.
I mean, let's face it. When Ja was out, Desmond Bane was the main guy. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but just a gut feel. When Ja was out, 9 of the last 10 games, I would bet you Desmond Bane averaged close to 25 points per game.
I think you're probably. Certainly he did the lion's share of the scoring when Ja was out. There's no doubt about that. I think you're right, but it could be Brooks too because he wasn't playing in a lot of those stretches as well. But it's got to be one of those guys.
Well, and another guy that was terrible in Game 3 was Melton.
Oh yeah,
and, Melton has been good in like 1 or 2 playoff games. He's been terrible in the rest.
Game 1, I think it was his best game.
I don't know if it's nerves. He's not the same guy he was in the regular season. Now, the stage and pressure and physicality goes way up when you're in the playoffs. I get that, especially when you get to the second round. But it's really weird for Melton, who it seems to be a pretty well-composed guy that he just has not been able to play well in postseason. I don't quite get it.
Desmond Bane averaged like over 20 points a game at the end of the season. 24, 23, 30, 20, 22, 23. So you're right. When Ja was out at the end of the season, Bane did all the scoring. And you got to think, like you said, if his back allows him to, he'll probably get scoring tonight. I'm interested to see how the Warriors match up because like you've seen the Suns with the Mavericks a little bit, kind of not allowing Luka to go off, but the Warriors are kind of been doing that with Ja, saying we're going to make sure we shut down all these other assets,
right?
And Ja is going to have to beat us with 40 a night or something like that. Who are they going to do that with tonight? What's their defensive matchup at all? Is it totally different? That could benefit the Grizzlies. You just don't know.
You don't. I know this. The Golden State Warriors at home, you know what the line is on this game? 10.5 points.
That's too many points.
10.5 points. Well, they just won by 30.
That's a fair point.
And they won by 30 with Ja. Now, Dylan Brooks wasn't there. I really, like I say, in the back of my head, I think Ja will play. I do believe, though, one thing. Ja really worked on his shot last year. That was his big emphasis in his off-season workouts. John needs to also, this summer, work on his defensive abilities because there is no doubt Minnesota and now Golden State, when they've wanted to score, they have gone right at Ja. Ja's got to get better defensively. Ja wants to be like Michael Jordan. Let me tell you something. Michael Jordan was all defense a bunch of times. Now, he's bigger, no doubt about that. But you've got to be, if you want to be the superstar, you've got to be decent on the other side of the floor. And at this point, he's not decent.
That's how you win MVP, is by doing that.
Speaking of which, Woj broke the story today. Nikola Jokic is going to be named MVP for the second year in a row. And honestly, how can you say he shouldn't be? When the guy is the first guy ever in history to score 2,000 points, grab 1,000 rebounds, and have 500 assists in the same year, and they do make the playoffs, I mean, how is he not the MVP?
No, you're right. The stats are – no one's ever equaled those stats before, which I think is a big reason why he won MVP. It's a shame there's only one award. I guess now you could always say that. But, I mean, Joel Embiid – not that Jokic didn't deserve it because he certainly did. You just named those numbers. Embiid finished second, and Embiid had – I would have been fine if they gave it to Embiid as well.
Well, look what Embiid has done. He comes back. They're down 2-love, and now it's tied 2-2. Embiid's had double-doubles in both games. I shouldn't say all this because he's coming up in my medals. which we will get to in a minute. We're sitting in the Family Leisure Studios. Don't forget the Vacation at Home sale. You can enjoy time with your family in your own backyard with play gyms and those trampolines, and they have that safety mesh on them now. I mean, it's a good deal and safe, and it's $500 off if you get it right now. During this Vacation at Home sale, hot tubs in stock ready to go up to $1,000 off if you pick it up, $1,500 off if you're a do-it-yourself guy. $1,500 on all in-stock pools when you pick up the pool and install it yourself. Just get to Family Leisure, I-40 and Whidden Road. There's patio furniture ready for pickup, too. All a part of the Vacation at Home sale. And don't forget our title sponsor, as always, it's Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch. That is where you will never pay more than sticker price on a new car. They are getting more new cars in every day. You know how good the product is. And the people there, this is a team Chris True has had. They've been together for a long time. They know that Hyundai product like the back of their hands. And they know their clients, and they know the financing end of it all, and you'll never pay more than sticker price. Other dealerships taking advantage of the shortages, law of supply and demand, that doesn't happen at Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch. It is time for us to give you precious metals. I'm going to give Max Homa a bronze medal because Max Homa won his 4th PGA tournament. He's done that in the last 3 years. That's pretty good. Multiple tournaments in 3 years. Doesn't he, with a hat on, he's not quite as big, but doesn't he look a little like DJ, Dustin Johnson?
Not as big, but you're right, in the face a little bit.
In the face, I swear to you, there have been times I thought, my gosh, Dustin Johnson's like shrunk or something. He takes the hat off. He does not look like him. But with the hat on, it's pretty uncanny. I'm going to give Gleyber Torres, the Yankee slugger, a bronze medal. He should probably get higher. He hit a walk-off home run yesterday, first game of a doubleheader in Yankee Stadium. It was cold. I think the wind was blowing out. It's a short porch in right field. He only hit it 369 feet, but it went out. Walk-off home run. That, since he got into the league in 2018, is the most anybody has had walk-off hits in that period of time. You want to venture a guess as to how many that might be? How many walk-off hits since 2018 for Torres?
8.
Close.
Really?
7.
Just took a shot in the dark.
7. That's the most of anybody in that time period. 7 for Torres, and they won the first game of a doubleheader, so congratulations to him. Silver goes to Embiid. He comes back. Sixers are down 2-0. He's had 2 double-doubles. You know what else he's done, though? Because he's drawn all that attention to him. Guess who's had his 2 best games in this series, maybe in this uniform? That would be James Harden. Harden has been outstanding because all the attention has gone to Embiid. We got a series now. It's 2-2. And I'm not saying to you that I don't think the Sixers can beat Miami in Miami with Embiid in there.
And, that series hasn't started yet. No one's lost a home game.
Well, that's exactly right. And I believe in that theory.
Me too.
You don't lose a series till you've lost a home game.
That's right.
None of them have, but I really think with Embiid in there, now they were both in Philly, I give you that, but I think the Sixers have a chance to win that series in Miami. Win a game in Miami now that Embiid is there, and all of a sudden Harden looks like the old Harden. And then Rich Strike gets my gold medal. Rich Strike was entered in the Kentucky Derby the day before. 30 seconds were left, by the way, for him to get in there, his group, his owner, his trainer, to become eligible. They got the word. They were actually going to go to New York to race and think that they were going to end up entering this horse in the Belmont. But they got the word they could get in, so they took it within 30 seconds of the deadline. He's in the day before. He's got this incredible jockey, Sonny Leone. Sonny Leone, you may be too young for this. Your dad would probably know, though. There was a jockey who was out of Arkansas, out of Hot Springs, he also spent half the year in Hot Springs and half the year in Kentucky. But I think his star really rose in Hot Springs, Arkansas, at Oak Lawn. His name was Pat Day. Does that name ring a bell to you at all?
No idea who Pat Day is.
Pat Day, great jockey. So people would go to Hot Springs, and then they would end up going in Kentucky. They would look at the racing form, and they'd go, to heck with the horse. We're betting the jockey. Pat Day delivers winners. And that is exactly what Sonny Leone was doing in Ohio. People would go to the track, and they wouldn't necessarily bet the horse. They were betting this jockey. First time ever in a Kentucky Derby. And this horse is in 15th as they approach the final turn. And he guides this horse all the way down the stretch at 80-1 to win. If you bet $2, you got $163. If you bet $100, you won over $8,000. What a story. It's the longest shot to win in over 100 years. It's incredible. The horse was on a 5-race losing streak, but they said he kept getting better and better and better, and nobody was a better finisher. That is exactly why they were going to enter him in the Belmont if they couldn't get into the Kentucky Derby. I think he's got a real shot at the Belmont. I have no idea what will happen in the Preakness in between. He's going to run in it, though. It was just a beautiful thing to watch. And here's the other little thing besides this jockey who's becoming a legend and in his first Derby wins the Derby. The horse was bought for $30,000. All right, he made $1.8 million here. But you know he's going to get between $500,000 and $1 million for breeding each time.
Just because he won the Kentucky Derby.
Because he won the Kentucky Derby. And that price, let's say it's $500,000 now. That'll go up if he wins another Triple Crown race. It's just an unbelievable story, and so is the handle. It was the most bet Derby ever. Any idea of how much was bet on this one race?
No, I have no.
$179 million on the one race.
How many people bet on the 80-1 underdog though?
But you know, if you go back on some futures, they were saying. You could have gotten that horse at 300-1. This is before they even knew he was going to be in the Derby. This was like 6 months ago when they're just
bet.
projecting. Yeah. So let's just say you go, all right, I'll put $50 down on 300-1.
Unbelievable.
What did that'd be $15,000, right?
Yeah,
you made
right.
$15,000.
That's right. Unbelievable.
What are yours?
Well, I didn't even know how that's how you bet horse racing too. You find a jockey that you know is doing a lot of winning, and you go with him.
Well, there's plenty of people
It's a good strategy.
will do that.
I think you got to remember that. My bronze medal goes to Jimmy Butler. Even in a loss, he scored 40 points.
He's averaging over 30 in this series.
Unbelievable. And Bam Adebayo has been great too, but Jimmy Butler, I don't think he gets enough credit, and so for me, I gave him some credit today, a bronze medal. My silver medal goes to Dorian Finney-Smith, who made 8 threes yesterday for the Dallas Mavericks. An incredible performance for them. Luka Doncic was great too, but Dorian Finney-Smith, I love role players, and Dorian Finney-Smith is the embodiment of that.
And there had to be somebody else to step up to help out Doncic.
No doubt about that, because Brunson they've been taking him out, and their starting center Powell can't even play in any of the games, so he's struggled as well. My gold medal goes to Formula One. A big weekend this weekend. It was the inaugural race in Miami, the Miami Grand Prix, so it was the biggest event in the world this weekend. It happened in America.
It was not bigger than the Kentucky
Derby.
Derby.
That's in the world, though? I don't know.
In the world.
In the world?
Well, we had a horse from Japan. We have millions and billions of viewers of the Kentucky. This is the biggest horse race in the world.
Okay, biggest event on Sunday.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Biggest event in the world on Sunday. Then
I don't know. The USFL played on Sunday.
Well, that's true too. Yeah, but it was a great race though, and there was a huge turnout. Michael Jordan was there. David Beckham, Tom Brady was there. A huge celebrity turnout. Hopefully that gets some traction for Formula One. It becomes a little more popular.
Speaking of the USFL, it was a commercial in probably the golf tournament where I turned over. NBC had that game, I believe, and. There was a kicker, I think, on the team that lost, the Houston Gamblers, Kevin Sutherland's team. And this kicker hit a 52-yard field goal and a 53-yard field goal. His name is Vogel.
Could he get an NFL contract?
I would think this is an audition. Under pressure, this guy's kicking 52-yarders and 53-yarders. You would think he would have a chance. That is for sure. All right, my rust, Grizz defense in Game 3. I don't think I've ever seen a team give up 72% shooting in the first half, ever. And this is a playoff game where the physicality comes up and you're supposed to play better D. That's embarrassing. 72%, 63% for the game, 52% from three. You can't have that.
I feel like it's been overshadowed a little bit by Ja getting hurt too, but it shouldn't be. It's got to be better, like you said. I have two. My first one goes to, you mentioned Gleyber Torres hitting a walk-off home run.
Yeah.
The Rangers manager said that it was because it was a Little League ballpark. Yankee Stadium is a Little League ballpark.
Well, and then they found out, honestly, there was only like 6 ballparks out of the 30
that it wouldn't go out at.
That it wouldn't have been out.
Yeah, because he said it was like 90-something% of the ballparks. Yeah.
Well, immediately the Yankee manager said that math can't be right because there's 30 teams.
Yeah, there you go, exactly. And then my other rust goes to the Mavs and Suns and Sixers and Heat, because those series haven't started yet. The home teams have won. And so I would really like to watch those series, but I got to wait for a home team to lose before it starts.
They're down to best of 3. That's the best
That's
part
right.
of it all. All right. Those are our medals. We're going to go to Tampa, talk to our friend TJ Reeves in a minute. I'll let you know this portion of the show is brought to you by Poppy's Pills. That's just what the doctor ordered. The pills, the Pilsner from Grind City Brewing. I mean, it is just a terrific, refreshing thing to have on a hot summer day. We're going to be in the 90s the next 3 days. You play golf, you get off the golf course, you want something light, crisp, and refreshing. And this Pilsner from Grind City Brewing is just what the doctor ordered. Ultra comfortable, built for speed. It's made right here in Memphis. The brewery is in Collierville, near downtown. They're opening a little pub over on Brookhaven. I mean, it's really cool. And this is exactly what you want to cool you off. It's available in 6-packs or 15-packs. You can ask your favorite retailer about it. It is best enjoyed ice cold, and when it's 90 degrees, you want something ice cold with whatever you're doing outside. So, you remember what the doctor always says. Get Poppy's Pills. It'll make you feel a lot better when it's hot out there. This is the new Pilsner. Everybody is crazy about Poppy's Pills. We pause for a second. To Tampa we go in just a minute. Halfway home on a Monday on Wolo and Friends.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hey, fellas, Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, and I want to ask you a question. Do you have any gift-giving occasions in May? Does somebody special have a birthday? Or maybe you have an anniversary this month that it would be very wise not to forget. Do you need to remember a hard-working graduate with a little present that tells them how proud you are of their achievement? Or maybe a Mother's Day gift for your mom or your wife, and you never go wrong with a gift for no reason at all. Just a gift that simply says, I love you. For over 37 years at Russell Brothers, we've been helping men out of their gift-giving dilemmas. Our A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau, along with the beauty of our jewelry and our quality, value, and service. That's why our thousands of loyal customers have been coming to Russell Brothers for 5 decades, and they keep on coming. We invite you to Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, 4646 Poplar at Perkins.
At Progressive, you can get 24/7 protection, even if you break the space-time continuum.
We did it! We time traveled to yesterday!
Wait, Progressive covers us 24/7, but we just created an 8-day week, and it's 24/7 coverage, not 24/8. We gotta go back.
Are you joking right now?
Shh, I'm calling them. Hi, I have a question about time travel.
Progressive offers more than a great price when you bundle home and auto. We offer round-the-clock protection, which literally means anytime. Coverage from Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers, and subject to policy terms. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
Everyone needs protection, whether you're on the field or on the road, so make sure you have the best. Bob Simpson State Farm Insurance can buckle you up with auto insurance, can back you up with life and health insurance, cover your business whether it's starting, growing, or maturing, and don't forget to insure your home, no matter if you're an owner or a renter. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call Bob Simpson today at 901 381-1233 or go online and get a free quote at bobsimpson.org. Stay protected with your good neighbor, Bob Simpson.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
One topic we did not discuss this week yet is U of M basketball, which was not a good weekend. We'll get into that in a second. We'll go to Tampa because there's a connection. TJ Reeves will join us here in just a couple of seconds. He's brought to you by Conway. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, and, of course, the tune-up. And I say get 2 a year, one in the winter. That includes a carbon monoxide test, and then the others in the summer where you get your Freon level checked, and then your 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-up takes place inside. They tune up all the essential things to keep everything in harmony and efficiency. Then they go outside and clean the heck out of the outdoor unit. Now, this is critical to being efficient for longevity of your system and to save money on your MLGW bill. All you got to do is call 384-3511. That's 384-3511. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. Now, our friend TJ lives down in Tampa, and he's proud of Tampa. But here's the one thing he's really jealous of. Because he loves golf. He doesn't get to play Miramichi. We do. You go try to play Miramichi tomorrow and you are a senior, you get to play for $33 tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday. That includes a golf cart and a complimentary range of complimentary range balls, as many as you want to hit. And the best part of that, too, is you've got a practice facility as good as any country club. This is the best public course practice area anywhere in the state. And look, Golf Week said a couple of years ago, if you play any kind of golf in the state of Tennessee, you got to include Miramichi. 330 acres of beauty, 7,400 yards of championship golf. Of course, you can move up. I like to play about the 6,300-yard mark. It's fantastic. The back nine is so beautiful. It's like walking in the forest with a meandering stream. You can't beat it, and you can't beat the terrace that overlooks 9 and 18 for a beautiful drink, or you want food. They got everything you could possibly want. You can watch sports on that terrace right after you play. Miramichi, it is the place to go. Tampa is where we head. So here's two stories that involve the
First of all, where's my invite to play Miramichi with you after all of that? I mean, we got to make that happen.
Anytime you come, my
all
friend,
right.
it's on me. So here's what happened this week. Visiting the U of M was a 7'5" Western Kentucky player named Jamarian Sharp. And he's decided he's going back to Western Kentucky. So Rick Stansbury, I bet you, found some NIL money for him. And then the other U of M story that we haven't talked about was the fact that Tyler Harris, who said when he entered the transfer portal, it wasn't his call. He was told to enter the transfer portal. And I'm going to say to you, I think about 50% of these transfers are new ways for coaches to, in a very discreet way, get rid of a player he no longer wants to have. And so Tyler Harris ends up at South Florida. He's going to be a USF Bull for Brian Gregory. How in the world did that happen, TJ Reeves, who happens to be a former voice of the Bulls?
Well, and again, I go back to the Seth Greenberg days in the late 90s, early 2000s, before we've all been blessed to have Seth on the TV every week, telling you the same jokes that I heard on radio and TV shows back in the late 90s and the early 2000s, by the way, but I digress.
Yeah.
In any event, Brian Gregory has now been here, I believe, 4 seasons. This was the completion of his 4th season, and I don't honestly know what the connection to Tyler Harris would be. Gregory's background is having been at Georgia Tech and Dayton before that.
I got to tell you.
I don't know what the connection to has he recruited Memphis players before that you know of at any of those schools?
And I'm going to tell you, he's been there longer, and here's why I'm going to say it. He Josh Pastner replaced him at Georgia Tech.
Right.
Tubby was here 2 years. Penny's been here 3 years, right? I think that's right. So that's 5 years. He's been there 5 years.
Correct.
Okay.
I just don't know what the connection is to Memphis.
I don't
Again,
either.
we looked. You and I briefly spoke, and I looked that his 2 assistants, Lewis Rowe is one of his assistants, who's the former head coach at James Madison. That's not necessarily a Memphis connection. And he's got another assistant that was at Youngstown State before that. So somehow, some way, either through AAU or some kind of dealings, there's got to be a connection there. And it's a valid point. USF has been bad in basketball forever.
They were good when you were
time.
When you were their announcer.
Playing time's got to be there.
When you were their announcer, they were not bad. I mean, South Korea
they were not
couldn't
NCAA
beat
tournament
Memphis.
worthy. They have been in the NCAA tournament one time in about the last 30 years of basketball.
Yeah.
I will say that again. They've been in the NCAA tournament one time in about the last 30 years of basketball. So this has got to be the promise off of another losing season last year, and they were really bad last year, as you know.
Yeah.
That he's going to play and play a bunch and have the opportunity to shoot, get his touches, the whole thing. So interesting when that popped up. When I saw that yesterday, I said, "Well, we got to break bread on that one, Wolo, on what is the connection." Aside from the fact that it's great climate, there's a lot to do in this area as well. And you mentioned that a lot of these programs, it is a two-pronged thing. Sometimes the players want to be gone, but sometimes the coaches are saying you need to find somewhere else. You don't fit into the plans for this upcoming season. And so now that transfer portal provides that opportunity.
Yeah, I would say this about Tyler. When Tyler was here for the first couple of years of his career, I was not the biggest fan. I don't think he even tried to defend. And when you're 5'7" and you don't weigh a lot, even if you can jump out of the gym, your defensive prowess is limited to a certain extent. But there was not much effort in that regard. All he really wanted to do was shoot, and mainly from the outside. He didn't even try to penetrate. He went away to Iowa State, and he started in the Big 12. That's how good a player he could be, but that was on a team that didn't even win a Big 12 game. I think they won two games the whole year. Then he came back to Memphis. He came back. He wanted to come home. I think his father had an illness. So he wanted to be closer to home for that. And I thought he grew up. I really thought he was a changed guy. I give him a lot of credit. He tried to play defense, even though he was still not a great defensive player. He expanded his game to not just shooting threes, but he could penetrate a little bit more. He became a better passer. He understood defensive concepts and at least tried. I give him a lot of credit. And I hope things work out well for him, except when he plays against Memphis.
Well,
and
I
that'll
was
be
just
weird.
about to say, you get two cracks at the Tigers, too.
Yeah.
That was another part of the selling point. At least one, if not two cracks at Memphis in the regular season of the American Conference would be another reason there. And look, I am a Memphis Tiger, a former Memphis State Tiger, through and through, and I enjoyed watching Tyler Harris's development. And he hit a lot of big shots late in the year in those wins over Houston, and even in the NCAA tournament win, I believe, against Boise State. He had a couple of big shots in that game, too. So it worked out for him to come back. But it's obvious he wants to keep playing, and it's interesting that he's now here where I am.
Yeah.
How about that?
Well, he ends up being the number 5 all-time Tiger three-point shooter. That doesn't even include the threes that he hit at Iowa State. Yeah. So he's the number 5 all-time shooter from three-point range in Memphis history. Rodney Carney is number 1. And he is the number 1 all-time career free throw percentage leader at 86%.
Wow.
I think one year he hit 89% of his free throws. He's
so on that top 5, I'm just thinking off the top of my head because the 3 was so new with the Electric P with Elliot Perry. He's not in the top 5, right? All time?
Elliot?
Is Elliot Perry in the top 5?
Of threes? I don't believe so.
From the late 90s, I would guess Rodney Newsom made it. Remember that kid made a ton of spot-up threes.
Yeah, he played
guess he would just speculating would be in the top 5. But who else is there?
He played with Penny. I know Donnell Mack is 4. He's 5. Carney's 1. I'm trying to think of who 2 and 3 are.
Okay. I have to look it up.
JMO, can you look that up real quick?
I'm looking right now. I can't find it fast enough. Found it.
When he finds it,
here we go.
Found it. Rodney Carney is in first. Jeremy Hunt. Anthony Rice.
Oh, yeah.
Mingo
Anthony
Johnson.
Rice.
Then Tyler Harris.
Oh, Mingo Johnson
is 4th. Yeah.
I thought Donnell Mack was. Maybe he surpassed Donnell Mack.
I don't even see Donnell Mack in the top 10, but 5 through 10 are all like within 5 threes of one another.
Wow, that's great.
Wow, how about
Jeremy
that?
Hunt, I forgot about
Where's
that.
Hey, J-Mo, where's Rodney Newsom? I remember that name, and he was a sniper. Did he make the top 10?
He did not.
In the top 10?
He didn't make the top 10 either.
Wow.
He was a great three-point shooter, though. He
Yeah.
had the highest vertical of any three I've ever seen. They were rainbows. I mean, they really went up high. He was fun to watch. Hey, and this is a weird thing with this portal, too, because now Harris will play Memphis twice, but so will Landers Nolly the third, because Landers Nolly was also, I am pretty sure, told to enter the transfer portal, and it ends up that he is going to be a Cincinnati Bearcat of all places. I didn't see that one coming, but now he'll play the Tigers a couple of times.
Wow. And that's, usually you don't see that. You don't see the rivals. And Cincinnati's somewhat of a rival with Memphis going back in conference play even 25, 30, 35 years ago. But this is the new thing. I mean, with the transfer portal, and it is again being fueled by the NIL and money and opportunities, and there are agents involved, and let's hope they get some of this. You can't put the genie back in the bottle, as the metaphor goes, or the toothpaste back in the tube, but they've got to try to rectify some of this with the players going every which direction. So I think we're in agreement on that.
Real quick,
Yep.
The hockey.
Yes.
So I made Stanley Cup playoff things, and we have to go over those later this week, J-Mo, because I want yours too before the first series are over. And
you were backing my Tampa Bay Lightning all the way.
The Lightning, and they got killed. 7-0 the first game? I mean,
they got beat badly in the first game, but now they have evened the series 2-2 after a Sunday night win at home. It was electric last night in the downtown Amalie Arena, and the Lightning won, and they've evened it 2-2. They're back in Toronto on Thursday. And the only thing I'm saying to you is the two-time champs, they are still the champs until somebody can knock them off, and that's a Toronto club that has not won a playoff series of any kind since 2004. So it ain't over yet for the Lightning to get out of the opening round and then look out on what could happen if that's the case in the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Predators are on the ropes, not far from you, and we'll see what happens with the rest of this. But long way to go. Let's see if the Lightning keep going. And what is the latest?
Can I just say this to you?
Yeah.
Honestly, you are terrific at objectivity most of the time, but with the Lightning, you're like blind. You're
I keep putting on social media that I have the hat on. I have the lucky 1993 jersey on. I mean, this is not newsflash.
You're not on the ice. You're not taking a shot. You're not blocking a shot. You're not.
I'm just rooting for the team. I want Tampa Bay to continue with all of this.
I hear you.
Before I go, what is the latest on John Morant? Because they played tonight. Do we know anything about the shoot around, which is supposed to happen in a little bit, or what's the latest?
We know nothing. And I'm going to tell you right now. The Grizzlies do not reveal any information. You will have to wait until 9 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock your time if you're still up. You'll be putting the Twins to bed.
Well, I know you got to go. That body language the other night, that didn't look like it was a mild, ordinary, I'll be better in a day or two thing. For whatever it's worth, the way he was acting and limping.
Like a Wolverine.
I don't know. We'll see.
I have a correction as well. I apologize. I was looking at 3-point field goals for a single season, not career.
I thought so.
Dono Mack is fourth. It's Rodney Carney, Anthony Rice, Chris Crawford, Dono Mack, then Tyler Harris is fifth.
So Hunt is not in there.
Jeremy Hunt is sixth.
Crawford in that mix.
Yeah. Oh, Chris Crawford was great.
Jeremiah Martin, 10th.
Jeremiah Martin, yeah. Well, actually, the
and
greatest.
Is Rodney Newsom, J-Mo, is Rodney Newsom in the all-time top 10 or no?
He's not. Six is Jeremy Hunt, Marcus Moody, Willie Kemp, Mingo Johnson, and Jeremiah Martin.
Marcus Moody. Wow.
That. Yeah. Marcus Moody, Mingo Johnson. Now you're taking me in the way back, Wolo.
There you go. On that note, we will take you all the way back out of here. But we will join you again next week. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Always good to be with you, my friend.
That's my man in Tampa. That is TJ Reeves. He's brought to you in part by the Spirit Shop. You know, that's Eddie Connor's place right at the corner of Poplar and St. Nick, 4848 Poplar. It's that little log cabin right down from Clark Tower. You've passed it a million times. You know it's a liquor store, but you don't know how incredible it is inside with product everywhere. Everything you could possibly need for any kind of party. And if you're going to watch tonight, the weekend's over, you probably need to restock. You go see Eddie and ask him about what's the hot-selling thing right now. Talk to him a little bit about the Poppy's Pills, anything from Grind City or Wiseacre or any local dealer that you know about. They've got it. They've got all the great bourbons. They've got all the great vodkas, anything. Some of those distilled right here in Memphis. All you got to do is go see Eddie Conner or anybody from his family. They've been running this thing since 1969, family owned and operated. If you need something to rim a glass, they've got that. Every beer, every kind of wine, from bargains, middle of the road, valuable, it's all there at the Spirit Shop at Poplar and St. Nick. We pause for a second. Ted Butler comes your way in just a minute.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
I tend to second-guess dinners with friends because they're often interrupted by diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or oily stools. It turns out I have EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, which means I'm missing the enzymes needed to digest food. My doctor prescribed Creon, pancrelipase, an oral prescription medication that replaces pancreatic digestive enzymes. Creon treats EPI due to cystic fibrosis, chronic pancreatitis, pancreatectomy, or other conditions.
Creon may increase your chance of fibrosing colonopathy, a rare bowel disorder. Tell your doctor if you have a history of intestinal blockage or scarring or thickening of your bowel wall, if you're allergic to pork, or if you have gout, kidney problems, or worsening of painful swollen joints. Call your doctor if you have any unusual or severe gastrointestinal symptoms or allergic reactions. Take Creon as directed by your doctor and always with food. Do not chew capsules, as this may cause mouth irritation. Other side effects may include blood sugar changes, gas, dizziness, sore throat, and cough. These are not all the side effects of Creon.
Creon is the #1 prescribed EPI treatment. Ask your doctor about Creon for EPI and visit Creon.com or call 800-633-9110 to learn more. That's CREON.com.
Sponsored by AbbVie.
Are you overworked and underpaid in that employment rut with no promotion in sight, or did you just lose your job? Then you need to contact the experts at ProResume. Go to ProResume.biz or call 685-1950, the fastest way to a new job.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. As we all know, Memphis can be a hotbed for severe weather, and that weather can play havoc on our roofs. Most people don't know what they should do first when they're concerned about the condition of their roof. Call their insurance company, call a contractor, or trust a door-to-door salesman that's making claims that are hard to believe. My advice would be call the contractor that you know and trust. If you don't know any, research your local contractors and give 2 or 3 a call. I hope your research will lead you to us. Have your roof inspected, decide for yourself what you should do, and whether or not you should file a claim with your insurance company. It's your home, it's your policy, and it's your money. Don't let anyone pressure you into anything. If you give Five Ash Roofing a call, we promise personal service with a member of our family with no pressure and no hype. Five Ash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Somebody mentioned DJ Jeffries. We had a texter on the AutoZone text line, 901-360-8255, get in the zone, AutoZone, and they mentioned that DJ Jeffries had, I think, voiced some interest in coming back to Memphis. The last I heard on that was, he was clearly in the mix, but there was apparently no decision that has been made by the Tiger coaching staff regarding DJ Jeffries, so we'll have to wait on that. And then the kid from Western Kentucky, we did mention he is staying at home. He is moving back. So Rick Stansbury obviously found some money. Speaking of money, Max Homa, he won his 4th PGA Tour event. He and Rory McIlroy are the only ones that have won the Wells Fargo multiple times, so good for him. But part of that story was Sergio Garcia, who was searching for a golf ball and was about to get put on the clock. And he basically said, I can't stand this tour. I can't wait to get out of here. He's going to play, obviously, on the Saudi Arabian tour that is Greg Norman's for the big money. If you are Jay Monahan, Ted Butler, and the same thing goes for Phil Mickelson, who has asked for a release, what would you do with these guys that want to go play the 8 tournaments for the big money that Norman's group and the Prince of Saudi Arabia are putting together?
Well, I'm not so sure what you can legally do. You know, if they ban them from the U.S. Tour, as they can probably file suit, you know, to get back on there. I really don't know. So I know what happened to Sergio. I mean, he just said, "I'm sick of this tour." He did get a bad ruling, but you know, he's been a hothead for a long time, and I know that Garrigus and Poulter and these guys that are having a hard time making money on the regular tour probably want to go to Saudi Arabia. I mean, there's guys over there that they can beat for a lot more money. I don't know what PJ can do about it. I don't know yet.
Yeah, I'm certainly not a lawyer by any means, but we tend to forget these are independent contractors.
Right,
so
right.
I don't think you could ban them. I just don't see how you legally could do that. But I do think the PGA has to figure out some ways to protect itself. These are they wanted to play 16 tournaments. Now they're down to 8. In the case of Phil Mickelson, would you give him the release or would you make it at least hard for him?
Might be tempted to give him the release with all the stuff that's coming out lately about his gambling. And I mean, there's been so much stuff over the weekend that he's way more gambler than people thought he was. And I did hear something that I can't say is absolutely true, but the reason that he and Bones Mackay split up was because he owed Bones $200,000 in back pay and wasn't paying him. And this is a source from New Jersey that told me that they read that in a golf magazine somewhere. So,
oh yeah, that I believe that was in Golf Week, or it's coming out in the book that Alan Shipnick is writing. Not only to say that, but in the period, it was like a 4-year period, and I want to say it's like 2010 to 14 when he was stiffing people. And I might have the times wrong, the years wrong, but I think it's a 4 or 5 year period where he lost gambling wise $40 million. Now I looked up his net worth when I saw that story. His net worth at this moment is $400 million. So apparently the $40 million in gambling losses did not affect his bottom line, but it might have for a period of time there where he didn't have the money to pay these guys.
Well, that's incredible. I mean, he should have pocket change enough to pay $200,000, but his reputation is so scarred right now. Most of the people that come in here that I work with, they don't care what he does. You know, they were avid Mickelson fans. You know, I can't wait to see Phil. Oh, I love Phil. Well, now they don't care what he does.
No,
so I don't know if
he put his foot in his mouth about this, about the people that are running the series, so that he couldn't have endeared himself to them, and he turned off everybody else. And I've never seen a guy poison himself public relations wise as much as Phil has. And that's why you're not seeing him at all. I wonder. I do think he will because he's the defending champion and the oldest ever to win a major. Don't you think he'll play the PGA at Southern Hills?
I would think so. I think that, as defending champion, you almost have to. But again, who really cares?
He's going to have to answer.
I like Max Homa.
You think Max Homa has a major in him?
I do. He's a really steady player and getting better all the time. What I liked about this past tournament was the Friday and Saturday, the way they had to play in those weather conditions, and how much the wet club face affected the shots. You know, they're going everywhere, and seeing them drive the ball 250 yards now instead of 3.
Right.
It was kind of.
Interesting
to watch him struggle.
I think I read this stat. This is the one that blew me away. The guy did not have a 3-putt the whole week. Not one 3-putt the whole week. That is pretty impressive.
In those conditions, that's incredible.
Yeah. All right, last thing. We were talking about the grip last week, and we couldn't quite get through it. So take me back, because people have different kinds of grips. In fact, I think you criticized my grip for being too strong.
Well, that wasn't a criticism. That was an observation.
I see.
There's some pretty good players that grips are a little bit too strong as opposed to what a normal grip would be. But if you use an unorthodox grip, then you have to learn all the compensations that go with it. And the strong grip makes you've got to turn your hips faster. You've got to release later. Otherwise, you hit low duck hooks all over the place. And the other grip, the weak grip, that's even worse because you can't square the face up on the way down. The face is open all through the swing, so you got to flip your hands at the bottom, and you get no leverage from your body, and you hit these weak pop-up slices to the right that it can easily be cured with just learning how to hold the club. It's not that difficult, but I don't think golfers appreciate enough how important it is because it's the only thing that touches the club.
So if you can describe it without being able to show us, obviously, if you can describe when you're instructing a very beginning player, how do you want them to hold the club? So anybody out there that wants to try it this way, that if their grip is incorrect, you can tell them how to do it.
If you lay the club diagonally across the base of your fingers in your left hand first, and put your thumb on the right center of the grip, and press the club up against the heel pad, that secures the left-hand grip. The right-hand grip is all fingers. You can overlap, interlock, or 10-finger, whatever you want, but you wrap the fingers around the shaft, and then your left thumb fits in the pocket of the right hand when you close it over. That's where most people don't do it right. The left thumb, where your lifeline is in your right hand, the right hand folds over the thumb, and it fits perfectly into that hand. And then your hands can work together, so you're not having confliction with the club face at impact. And I try and get everybody in the beginning to start that way. Most players like to grip it stronger because it feels better, like a baseball bat, but it's not as effective.
All right. Ted, thank you much. Have a good week. We got the Byron Nelson next week, and there's a pretty good field, so we'll have plenty to talk about.
Yeah, real good field.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. That is
Thanks,
our
Dave.
man on golf. That is Ted Butler. He's brought to you in part by James Davis Men's Store, Laurelwood Shopping Center, the Paul Batenley suit. That sale continues, 2 for $8.95. You can get it in classic fit or trim fit. Absolutely the best material. You look like $1 million in that thing. And we're going back to the office. It's time to dress up casually again. You want to look nice. Hey, James Davis has all kinds of pants. 5-pocket, performance fabric, cotton fabric, an amazing array of denim. And, by the way, an abundance of sports shirts. Button up for the office. You can do the polos for work or on the golf course. And I know you're working out. James Davis working with you there. They have this new thing called Task. The Task workout wear is the way to go. It's cotton and bamboo combined. I mean, what a combination. But it helps you perform in the stance system. The only place you can get the most popular custom fitting system in the country now. If you're getting it in Memphis, the only place to get it is the James May Davis Men's Store in the Laurelwood Shopping Center. Thanks to TJ and to Ted. Johnny Radio is next. Have a great Monday, everyone.
I know the sweetest thing in Memphis, and I know